have to come and take in Texas. Thank you all for being here. To my constitutional carry, brothers and sisters, you are the first genuine spark of liberty that I have seen out of my generation. And for the renewed faith in the American people that you have given me, I am in your debt. And to my licensed carry supporting friends, thank you for being here as well. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful that we live in a country that allows you to come and assemble with us and have your voice heard on this very important issue. I hope you'll permit me the luxury of a little cheat sheet. I'm not a professional speaker, and it would be a dreadful shame if I went off on a tangent halfway through. For those of you who know me, you know who I am, you know what I've been through. Those of you who don't, Gordon shooting in 2014. It's ugly, it's messy, it's bloody, it's awful, it's brutal, and I don't like talking about it. Parts of it are liable to put you off your lunch.
And it happened on an no-gun zone.
Gun-free zone.
That is correct.
Guns are killers.
So I'll spare you the trouble. What I will attempt to make you intimate with, however, is what this experience has done to me physically, mentally, morally. You can probably see the bald spots growing on my face. They're on my legs too. That's all stress. Because it's exhausting to have to watch everyone, everywhere I go, every second of the day, in my own homeland. It's like a deployment that you never get to come back from. And when I look in the mirror, I see the face of somebody who's been beat down, somebody who's been humiliated, somebody who knows what it is, if just for a moment, to be without a shred of dignity, in the lowest possible position that any human being can experience, prostrate on my belly, reaching for a gun that should have been there that was not, and believing the next few seconds to be the closing moments of my life. You know, in a way, I kind of feel that's how livestock must feel in the last moments, you know, before they get the mechanical separator. And kind of in a way, I also feel that that makes me have more in common with them than I do with most people. Or even most animals for that matter, you know, survival of the fittest and all. So given that, I guess you could say I have kind of a unique perspective on this whole idea of constitutional carry. Because in the community that I work in, I'm completely denied my right to defend myself, and I know nothing will change that. And yet, in the community that I work in the community that I live in, excuse me, Texas has graciously granted me the privilege of carrying a concealed firearm for my personal defense. How generous of them. And though I applied a few years ago, and I'm now one of the privileged few who may carry a CHL and a concealed weapon, I am very likely to lose my CHL and my weapon should I ever have a need of it. It may be revoked at any time or suspended during a period of investigation should I ever be accused of a crime, no matter how frivolous the charge, and even if I had used my pistol in self-defense. And then should that investigation conclude that I did nothing wrong, I must then reapply to have my privilege, my permission reinstated to a faceless bureaucracy that cares nothing for my life. And should my attacker survive to charge me, I must then defend myself against an extremely hostile judicial system that can, may, and probably will force me to surrender my CHL out of hand. And even if I never need to use my handgun at all, when my expiration date comes up, I still have to reapply to keep my privileged status. All payments non-refundable. Does that sound like a right to you? No, it's not. That's the difference between a right and a privilege. A privilege is a lien placed on your liberty, making it extremely liable to not be there at all when you need it the most. And in fact, completely unavailable to those who haven't the resources, the misdemeanor-free past, or the dumb luck required to maintain that privileged status. But a right does not originate from the government. We understand it to be inherent within us. It cannot be bought or sold. It cannot be separated from us. That's the meaning of the word unalienable. And for a government to steal that right and attempt to sell it back to us should be as offensive to a free people as it is offensive to their God. Our desire to be guided by our own judgment regarding the wearing of arms springs from a basic respect for the sanctity of life. In Texas, we deserve the right to protect life as much as we deserve the right to life itself. Constitutional carry. House Bill 195 and its companion Senate Bill 342 is about so much more than us wanting to carry our guns, our tools, around on our hips like cowboys. It's about so much more than playing stump the chump with police officers who don't know the law. Constitutional carry represents a vindication for every victim of every violent crime in Texas since a time out of memory. It represents a reconciliation for everyone who knows, as I do, what it is to be stripped of my liberty, stripped of my dignity, lower than livestock. And I'll be damned if I accept permission from the government to be elevated from that. Now, for as much as I talk about the government, I love my Texas. And I think it's a shame. Hi, Karen. Very nice to meet you. I love kids. And I think it's a shame that my Texas has been guided for so long by policies that spring from a progressive model of governance. That the people are the property of the state, livestock, if you will, and may decide nothing for themselves without its blessing. And I wrote this one down because it's important. The wages of this medieval style of governance are poverty, crime, violence, and death. And believe me, I'm not originally a Texan. I am a product of a place called Baltimore City, Maryland, and I do not come by that observation by accident. But let me tell you something that I feel down in my bones. And I want to know if y'all feel this too. What I feel on the wind, if you will, is that the progressive era of the 20th century is coming to a close. Every day I can see more people coming around to the idea that they can govern themselves, like it's a new concept. And to our generation, frankly, it kind of is. And so I think it would be fitting if my Texas should take the lead in putting permitted carry where it belongs, in the trash can of history's bad ideas. So we're about to take a walk, as I understand, out through the neighborhood in a little while. And as you do so, I would like to challenge you to think of yourselves as the leaders that you are. Leaders of the flock. Not a flock of livestock that is in need of a gallant sheepdog, if you will, to protect them. But the kind of flock that serves as its own guardian and its own guide. God bless each and every one of you, even the opposition here. God bless Texas. And as always, carry on.
All right, next up we're going to have AJ.